I'm Ramsay Hunt Steven, and in this video I'm going to compare where I was at the beginning of my diagnosis, week 1, versus 1 year. Let's start with speech.
Hi, I'm Steven and I have Ramsay Hunt Syndrome.
Hi, I'm Steven and I have Ramsay Hunt Syndrome. As you can see, I had slurred, slow speech immediately after diagnosis. This was in part due to the total facial paralysis that I experienced, probably as well as some of the fatigue. That did improve over time. I had a big jump in week 2.
I'm Steven and I have Ramsay Hunt Syndrome.
Then continuous improvement thereafter. People say they don't notice my speech anymore, but I still feel like I have some issues. Certain consonants I can't pronounce as well because I still have partial paralysis. And that brings us to the big thing, the facial paralysis. Let's look at how I was to how I am now. First off, I didn't record paralysis tests till week 3. So I'm going to take some clips from week 3 and compare them to now, 1 year later. We'll start by raising the eyebrow. Raising the eyebrow. All right, let's raise the eyebrow now. This is the good eyebrow. Here is the paralyzed side. I still cannot really move that eyebrow. But one of the things you'll see is when I raise the eyebrow, the paralyzed side will close. So this is called synkinesis.
Closing the eyes. You can see that eye doesn't like to close. Creepy.
Closing the eyes now. Here's a soft close. And now I'm going to do a hard close. So the soft close works pretty well. The hard close, can't really do it, but it's good enough.
Smiling.
Smiling. I'll do a subtle smile. I can kind of pull one off if I'm really conscious. But if I do a big smile, it's a no-go.
Whistling. Can't do it.
We'll try whistling now. Still can't do it. Some other things I didn't do in that first test was puffing the cheeks. I can't really puff the paralyzed side. So as you can see, I'm much improved. My face is not slumping. It's much more neutral, but I still have partial paralysis 1 year in. If I have a neutral expressive face, nobody really knows. Most people don't realize it until I am very expressive, which I'm not by nature. The other thing I'm experiencing now is synkinesis. So now that I do have some movement, when I do certain things, like I raise the eyebrow, my good eyebrow, and the eye kind of wants to squint. Another thing I'll do, so certain movements, smile, it wants to squint. I'm trying to train that through physical therapy to not be linked to other movements. But the other thing that's crazy is I will get a tearing eye and a runny nose when I eat. Go figure. Now, one of the biggest issues with the paralysis in those first months, and honestly it was like 8 months, was I couldn't close my eye. This meant my eye dried out. I was having to use a moisture chamber. I was having to tape my eye closed at night. I was using an eye mask to help keep the tape closed secure. I used eye drops all the time. It was a very difficult part of the facial paralysis. You can see from this test that I still have a softer close, but I can blink and my eye closes enough that I no longer have to wear the moisture chamber. I no longer tape my eye at night. I still use eye drops. I use a special eye drop at night. Occasionally we'll use an eye drop during the day, but for the most part my eye stays moist. So this is a huge win compared to the first many months post-diagnosis with Ramsay Hunt Syndrome. Another challenge I experienced is hearing. Initially, what I experienced was a lot of tinnitus. I didn't fully realize how much hearing loss I was experiencing. I didn't have a hearing test until 2 months after diagnosis, and my hearing loss was fairly extreme. I could hear some things, but not enough to where I would be able to use a hearing aid. A couple months later, I did a subsequent hearing test, and my hearing had improved, but again, not enough to where a hearing aid would be successful. I still have very loud tinnitus. Here's what I'm hearing right now. And that's what I've been hearing since almost day one of the paralysis and the diagnosis. It's very annoying. I've learned to tune it out. It isn't affecting me negatively other than annoying, and I can't hear. As I've talked to my doctor, my options, if I don't get further improvement, will be either a two-way hearing aid where a hearing aid on one side mirrors the sounds over here on this side of my head to the good ear, or a cochlear implant. I will be getting some tests around 18 months, at which time we will see where things stand and make some determinations for how to move forward. Right now, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. But for now, I've learned to adjust. The times that are most difficult are when I'm in a restaurant or a crowded room of people. I've learned to position the good ear towards what I need to hear. Sometimes I do have to ask people to repeat themselves. This can be a little bit annoying. It is something I have to consider as I look at a hearing aid or a cochlear implant of something that might help me socially, because I can't always hear what people say. The other issue with that nerve to the ear is also the inner ear. And that nerve also is fried, which caused a lot of balance issues. In the beginning, I was using a cane, as you'll see in this video. And there was about 4 to 6 weeks where I didn't even feel comfortable driving because the world was moving. I had to just sit head fixed because there was so much movement. I just couldn't do a lot of things. I had to either use my cane or hold on to something around me to navigate the house. Driving so much movement that I just didn't feel comfortable driving safely. Let's see how I'm doing now with my balance. All right, I'm going to demonstrate my balance. I'm going to walk with my eyes open. I feel fairly balanced, fairly stable. Where it gets tricky is if I spin around really quickly. I'm doing okay there. But usually if I do a quick spin, sometimes I'll wobble, but I can usually adjust. I'm going to walk with my eyes closed now. See how that goes. You can tell me, now I have to widen my stance, and so I'm stable. Or I will have balance issues. One of the exercises I did in physical therapy is if I walk putting one foot in front of another, it's somewhat difficult even with my eyes open, but I have decent stability. Now let's go back so you can see my feet. I'm going to do that with my eyes closed. So I'm reliant wholly upon the inner ear, one of which isn't working, and my physical system. You can see I'm doing it here in the doorway. It doesn't work so well. So the challenge with balance is, and this is what I did in physical therapy, your balance is based on 3 systems. It's based on your inner ear, your eyes, and your musculoskeletal system. I had to retrain, so I'm more dependent upon visual and my physical system. Balance is much better than it was, but it's still off. So as you can see, I'm still a little bit off balance, but functionally I can do a lot of things I want to. I can run, I can hike. I have ridden a bike. That wasn't great. I haven't tried to ride a bike a lot. Sometimes I'll lose my balance if I move, spin quickly, or do some motion that's kind of offsetting, but I can usually catch myself. It's not inhibiting, but it is something I have to be aware of. The other issue with Ramsay Hunt Syndrome is fatigue. Here's how I felt in the beginning.
Vertigo is very debilitating. I'm very tired all the time. How I'm feeling physically is really exhausted. It's a really tiring thing. It wears you out, I think, the vertigo and everything else.
Now, I'm doing a lot better. The extreme fatigue that I experienced initially has worn off. My energy improved over time, but I do feel like I have a lot less energy than I did pre-diagnosis. I used to feel like I had almost an unlimited amount of energy. I was an endurance athlete. I ran marathons and triathlons. I hadn't done one in a few years because of some injuries, but I was still running. I was exercising a lot. I was in pretty good shape. And while I've been able to do some exercise, my energy battery is just limited. If I work too long, if I overdo it, I just feel it. And so while it's improved, it's still a limitation. I still get tired and I still need a good night's sleep or I feel it. Emotionally, let's see how I felt.
Emotionally, it's been a roller coaster. In some ways, I'm just in survival mode.
So I don't feel like I'm in survival mode anymore. Right now, I feel like I'm surviving and I'm pretty happy. I'm able to do most of the things I want to do. I'm not allowing myself to get depressed about the things I can't do and trying to be grateful for the things that I can, which is a lot of things. That said, I still want more recovery, and I'm hopeful that I'll see continued improvement. But I'm also at peace if I don't, because the major issues, the eye not being able to close, the balance, those things are fairly manageable now. Now, this has impacted my ability to work. Fortunately, I own some businesses with my wife, one business with another partner as well. Initially, I went down to almost barely working. Fortunately, the businesses were big enough with enough team members to where I could take a big step back. I am back to more or less full time, but if you own a business or you're in a high demand job, I can't do those crazy hours anymore. I just wear out. So I joke I'm at full time, but not founder time. And to a certain extent, I'm okay with that because I'm trying to prioritize other things in life. Finally, this is a spiritual journey.
And despite all this, I have had tremendous peace.
I still feel a lot of peace and hope. I feel a purpose in this experience. It's been hard. It continues to be hard, but it's helped me grow in ways that I needed to grow. And for that, I'm grateful. I've experienced healing, and I've also learned that sometimes you're healed and sometimes you receive the strength to endure your challenges. I'm very grateful to my Heavenly Father and to Jesus Christ for the blessings I've experienced during this thing, the friendships, the communities that I've been able to experience. I was diagnosed a few weeks before Easter. This anniversary is right before Easter. So the resurrection is something that's very important to me. And it's become much more important because of the loss of my physical capabilities. I believe that there is a resurrection, that I will have all of my physical capabilities restored to me in a perfected form. But even more importantly than that, I believe in atonement. I believe that Jesus Christ suffered for my sins, my sorrows, my hardships. And I've experienced a lot of hardships and sorrows over this last year, and I felt a lot of peace and comfort through that. And that is probably even more important than the resurrection. Don't get me wrong, I want to be fully physically helpful, but to have that peace and comfort that has come through my faith has been priceless. So whether you are 1 week into Ramsay Hunt Syndrome, a few months, a year, or years beyond, I hope this video and other videos on my channel are helpful. I started this channel because I felt a need to help those who are experiencing Ramsay Hunt Syndrome. What I've learned over the year is many people are interested, whether they're experiencing Ramsay Hunt Syndrome or other physical or emotional ailments. If nothing else, my hope is that you'll experience some hope, some faith, some insights that can help you on your journey. Watch my full journey on my channel, and thank you for supporting me, those who've been watching for a while. And if you're new to this channel, I hope it is of benefit. And I hope when I record my 2-year video that there's even more to share of a positive nature. Until the next video.